Thank you. So, apart from my very French name, I'm actually Dutch. Surprise. Um, of course, well, people could have figured if I worked for Nelly Kroes, there might be a small connection. Um, excuse me for my voice, but my kids have brought some trouble for me at home with being sick a little bit. But I think it is a very important topic. So I want to make sure that we have the right debate. Expedia Group, for people that don't know, Expedia Group is a online travel company operating various brands from Expedia to hotels.com, but also in the price comparison side with Trivago. The Expedia Group, and it probably comes to several of the companies that are under discussion when it comes to the platform to business regulation. Expedia Group already exists for 22 years. So I think often people think that this debate is about something that's all very new and suddenly needs to be regulated. But most of these companies, and I think Amazon is part of that as well, have been around for a long time and have been investing, innovating, and working with industry already for quite a long time. And so we should not forget that those companies are also in a competitive landscape with others in the industry. And that's why I would like to illustrate a little bit of how the market works when it comes to the online travel agency world. So on the hotel side, the market is very simple. About 40% of hotel bookings are done via chains. About 60% are done via independent hotels. Online travel agents, it's sort of another cut of the market, are about 25% of hotel distribution versus 75% of distribution that happens via the hotel's own platforms or via the various other systems like the tour operators, the GDS systems, etc. And I think it's an important point because I'd like to steal a couple of words from Werner's speech. Evidence-based, complexity, unintended consequences, sectoral interests. Those are the points I noted down, which I think are really getting to the heart of what we, Europe, and the discussion in the Parliament should try to avoid. The regulation that's at the table is a good step, and we have said before, it starts with having transparency about how things work, what the relationships are. But it should be avoided to create a regulation that is going to go into very specific issues between companies. And I think I should illustrate the debate because a lot of people have been hearing about something that they probably have never heard before, the word MFN, the word most favored nation clauses. You would wonder why is it called like that? It's a term that's used in trade policy. You can also call them parity clauses. You can call them anti-discrimination clauses is how we would like to see it. What happens in the market if, as I said, about 40% of bookings are done via chains, hotel chains, and then think of most of the time non-European global companies like Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, they have gradually over time divested their hotels and become online platforms. So the key question is really what is this regulation trying to regulate? Because the hotel chains, who actually take a larger share than online travel agents, so we take 25, we are 25% of the distribution. Hotel chains are about 40% of the distribution. Those hotel chains are operating like a platform. They don't own hotels, they own the platform through which these bookings are made. And so I think it is really important when we have these debates in the parliament that the evidence is on the table, that the complexity is seen. And so these discussions around hotels have been ongoing for probably 5 years at the level of European competition authorities. And this is this is where my time with Kaili comes into play. These things require a lot of analysis and to make sure that there are not unintended consequences of some groups lobbying for something under the pretext that they are actually helping European SMEs, but actually are helping the bigger platforms, that the hotel platforms. And in this case, a nice statistic, on the online travel agents, about 80% of bookings are done for SMEs, for small and independent hotels. 20% are chains. And if you know that 40% of the market is chains, well then you can figure out that chains are feeling the pressure of the fact that competition online happens in two ways. One, going directly to, for example, a party like Google. And Google works in a different way. In Google, you pay per click, so you pay in advance. On online travel agents, you only pay when you make a booking. So when a booking is made on our platform, only then is there a payment by a hotel. And so if a hotel is able to benefit from all the investments that we've made, the visibility that we are providing, the marketing efforts, the 150 websites, the payment methods, the language translations, but then people can always book on the own hotel's website for 10% less. About 50% of what we make, we invest in marketing. Well, then it's not a sustainable business model. And if you're a chain and you also operate a platform, and you're the one that can then capture those clients because you have the deeper pockets to pay marketing on Google, and a small independent hotel does not, well, you can connect the dots and say, well, this is actually only in the interest of larger American hotel chains and not in the interest of smaller European SME hotels who don't have a voice here in Brussels. So I'm just wanting to illustrate the point that these things are complex and should be handled by, in this case, the 5 years of investigation that has been done by European competition authorities. So let me summarize. I think the key point is that this regulation leads to the debate on the points that are necessary, leads to transparency, and then the next step might be to follow with specific reviews of specific practices on the basis of competition authority review if there is an actual problem to be solved, and not create sectoral interest specifically in this regulation. So thank you very much. And I would like to end with the point that the unintended consequences, the fact that a specific piece of regulation might be introduced, certainly needs to review of what it could mean for other sectors, like other agency businesses that operate for example, organizing events and work in the same way. So I think it is an important point to review before this people jump to conclusions. Thank you very much.
Well, although you said that you're not hotels, you're just platforms, you're trying to force prices to the hotels, and I don't think we would agree there.